so disappointed in the YouTube app. I need to look into OPS to figure out how to stream with them. Anyway, let's start over again. This is my second attempt at going live today. Happy Saturday. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for joining us. Please put in the comments below what you're up to this weekend or what you were hoping to do this weekend. All right, let me just pull up so I can see. Okay. I really need to work on figuring how to improve things. I also need to get a new desktop tripod, an overview tripod, whatever you want to call it, because mine is also on the fritz and it's adding to my frustration. Okay, anyway, so I've got my traveler's notebook. I've got my new colored pencils, which I'm going to talk about. I made milk tea, which this is another reason why I was late, is I wanted to make it on the stove. And of course, like the tea bag exploded and there was black tea everywhere. So I don't know if this is going to be drinkable. It's gonna have tea leaves everywhere, but at this point we're just working with what we got, right? Like that's all we can do. Lisa's here. Happy Saturday, Lisa. What are you up to today? Okay, the tea's good. So this is my traveler's notebook in the To and Fro limited edition case, which this is how I've been carrying it around, and I really like it because I throw it in my bag and don't worry about like the leather getting scratched or any of the pages in my notebook getting wet or anything like that. So this has been working out well. Wow, you put your Christmas stuff away today, Lisa? It's February. You really enjoyed it all of January, didn't you? I put my stuff away probably, I flew back home December 28th. All my stuff was away December 29th. I was ready for the holidays to be over. I'm one of those people where I feel like the holidays just like drag on and I want to be done with it, you know? Like it's like a whole month leading up to it and then it happens and then it's, yeah. So we put together this notebook the last time we went live, which was a while ago because the semester started and life is super insane again. But this is what I've been using with my 2024 monthly spread, which is very unlike me. This is kind of the case of stuff I've been carrying on. I can't remember if we talked about this on the last live of this setup, but this is what I've been carrying around. So what I want to do today is use these new colored pencils that I am trying from Milan, which I got at Kinokuniya in Atlanta, because I felt like it was time to try upgrading from my Dollar Tree colored pencils. But we'll see how this goes. And I've talked about before that I like Milan products because I used to use them when I lived in Moscow. And they're not that easy to find in the US. So I'm really behind on my journaling. So if you aren't behind, let us know in the comments. Because I'm super behind. But I'm not letting it stress me out. We're just doing what we can. So here are my goal for this is to draw my monthly cat comic. I'm sorry, not my monthly cat comic, but to draw my cat comic in a box on the monthly spread. So here are the last 2 weeks of December I decided to do, and I drew them with this Sakura Micron PN, the plastic nib. I think this is my all-time favorite plastic nib. There's something less intimidating about it than using one with like a metal encasing on the nib. I don't know why. It feels lighter. So let's see about coloring in here. I also have a nice thing of flowers from Trader Joe's. You should always buy yourself flowers. In a vase that I bought from a Japanese woman here, there was like a pottery show I had gone to, which was, I forget what it was called, like Potters of East Tennessee or something like that. And I got this really awesome vase. When I went into the show, it's kind of hard to see. I saw this literally from across the room and knew I was going to get this vase. I actually specifically needed a vase, but I didn't want to just buy one, you know, from like Walmart. I wanted to go to like some kind of craft show to support an artist. So I got this and not a matching, but a similar style mug that she made, and I'm very satisfied. Oh, Katie's here. You made it to the live, yay. Oh, I'm glad you got the stuff because I had sent you that stuff when we had our snowstorm, and basically everything was shut down here, so I figured everything was going to be super delayed. Here in Knoxville, we probably were closed for at least 7 days. I think school completely had off from like Martin Luther King Day to the following Wednesday or Thursday. That's how bad it was here. I think we got 9 inches of snow, and then it was -4 degrees, so all that snow turned to ice, and it was a rough time. We had to have like our pipes on so they wouldn't freeze, and a lot of people here don't have shovels or boots or kind of like, you know, even it was difficult getting people to plow. A lot of streets weren't plowed for like 7 or 8 days. I didn't have a shovel or nothing because I moved here thinking, oh, it's Tennessee, it's not gonna snow. Boy, was I wrong. So we're gonna try coloring in my little cat comic here. Here's my rationale, and probably you all will understand this. These are new color pencils. I have not colored with them yet. This is December 2023 cat comic. I'm gonna use the new ones to color in this month to see how it looks on the pages. If I'm not happy with these and how they appear in my traveler's notebook, we are going to switch to the Dollar Tree ones because these are my tried and tested. I know I love these color pencils, and I'm just hoping I'll love these color pencils, right? And the funny thing was, I was getting so frustrated when I tried to open this. One reason why I purchased this one was because it comes in like this nice plastic case, and I thought it would be perfect because usually I carry my traveler's notebook and I could throw this in with it, and then in here have like a sharpener and eraser and all that. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a case so then I can like present it and it looks nice, and I wanted to keep everything all organized, right, like all the colors. And I could not for the life of me figure out how to make the case that way, and I'll demonstrate. So it says open, so I like, how did I do this? Yeah, okay, so you open up the clasp, and it opened up here, and I kept thinking, wait, even now I'm forgetting how I did this. I kept thinking that it would go like this, right? And be up long ways. Let me do it flat. Let's do a proper demonstration of me being dumb. And it kept not working. I was like, what? Okay, so then I was thinking, I was looking at the picture and that's how it looked in the picture. And I was like, wait, no, that's not how it looked in the picture. So I'm sitting, okay. So then I was like, okay, this doesn't fold. I don't want to break this. Does it go like this? And do you put, so it goes all the way back. So now it's standing up, yay, success. And then I thought, does this open thing go where this arrow shows, right? Because it looks like it would. And it clips on to that. And I was like, okay, why did that take me so long? These are made for an elementary school kid, right? But for some reason for me, I couldn't figure it out. Because I swear, the picture shows it differently. Like the length of this is different. Right? No, maybe. Like, the length of this isn't that long. This looks like this part would fold in half again, but it doesn't. There's no crease there. So I couldn't believe, I was like, what am I doing wrong? I mean, which is so on brand for me. I don't know what I'm doing. And I just couldn't figure this out. So finally, we're good. They're clipped in like that. They're triangular colored pencils from Milan. And I like how they're all separated, nice and neat, and it's a good range of colors. So, color pencil mission was a success. Oh, let me catch up on everyone's comments, I feel bad. So Katie says you had 5 weather-related cancellations, but not as many as you did. It makes sense that snow would be challenging in Tennessee. Absolutely. People are horrible drivers here without the snow, so you can only imagine what it was like when my hill was covered in 3 inches of ice for a week. See, the pick is wrong, and I'm standing there like, because that is long. This is long, right? In the picture, it makes it look like it stops here. So I thought this was put. So then I was like, well, does this fold back? I don't know why I was just. But I love how they're like kind of folded up like this. This is like a selling point for me. This is awesome. And I guess, you know, the picture's wrong. The picture is wrong. And then Katie said some Lee pens come in a set in a storage container. Oh, I've seen them, and I probably have a set in a storage container. Is there a way that you can actually fold them open? I probably never did that. I don't know why it's so frustrating. So we have our color pencils. Success. So what's everyone been up to? I just want to do a little bit of coloring, hear what you've been up to. Then, as tradition says, I will share which book I'm currently reading, which for fun, because for my PhD I'm probably reading 3 or 4 books simultaneously right now, because we're always reading like a book per week per class. So, and then the class I'm teaching. So this is like my for fun book. Also, if you know a really good milk tea recipe, like Hong Kong style or royal milk tea, if you have a good YouTube video for it, please share, because I'm currently in my milk tea era. Or if you know a good black tea that you buy that you make milk tea with that tastes really strong, let me know. I do buy the instant packets from like the Korean store and Japanese store, but it's a little too sugary for me. But they are nice in a pinch. So we're gonna draw cats. I'm guessing this blue is gonna be the blue cat. That's me. And I'm coloring in here when it was my birthday. Okay, I feel like the pigment is much stronger than the Dollar Tree ones. I don't know if pigment's the right word. The color lays on really richly, which is nice. And the triangular is also nice. Love me some triangular. Isabel says, you're working on a puzzle. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, Isabel. What's your puzzle of, and how many pieces is it? And how far along are you? I have some puzzles, but I'm one of those people that like always wants to do puzzles, but then I feel like I'll get too frustrated. Okay, so far I'm satisfied with the color pencils. I'm a little bit nervous when I have to sharpen them though, because I'm always nervous about how sharpening triangular things is different than circular, because the sharpeners are made for circular, right? So we're not going to stress about it. We're just going to enjoy the moment. I have so many videos to catch up on. I've basically just been trying to get adjusted to my new work schedule and getting back into the swing of all that fun stuff. I'm taking 2 literature classes this semester. One is great. I have no idea what's going on half the time, but I'm happy about it. And the other one, don't like the vibes. Definitely kind of regretting it, but at this point, it's like I might as well just push through and just see what happens. Lisa bought a black paper TN insert, and you're finally using your metallic pens. Ooh, how is that looking? I'm always intrigued by the black papers, even when I was at, what store was it? Was it Michael's? They have all the different black papers now, and metallic markers and stuff, and I just can't envision like what you would create with that, because I guess I'm so used to being on white or cream colored paper and using colors on the paper instead of, I don't know. Isabel says it's a tea time, 1,000 pieces, Gallison brand, and it's super cute. Is it as cute as my milk tea from a 1970s vintage tea mug that I got at a charity shop for like 50 cents? Because I also like 70s looking things. Okay, Yorkshire Black is totally my favorite. The one that's in the red box, I've tried the gold label, but I feel like the red one still tastes better. It was my favorite for the longest time, in that I actually purchased the 480 480 tea bag package you can get on Amazon. It's like a giant. It's like a it's like a case of tea, and I had bought that kind of at the beginning of the pandemic, but I either drank it or finished it, or when I moved I didn't bring it or whatever. So maybe this is a sign I should just order some more Yorkshire black tea, because I feel like that's like a good go-to. I like it really strong too. And then Katie's working on paperwork, makes writing student reports more enjoyable. Okay, that's awesome. How's your back to school stuff going? It still feels weird that it's February. Can we all just acknowledge that? Because I feel like I'm not. I still think like Christmas was 2 weeks ago kind of mentality. Our semester also started late because they had to call for snow day. So because our school, has 36,000 students, and so many of them live in the state of Tennessee, but like Tennessee was shut down, so it was the week before classes start, so they couldn't physically get back to campus. So they had to delay the start of the semester. So that's also throwing off my vibes. Yeah, Katie, I'm trying. I told myself I was gonna go live tonight, um, because I feel like I haven't gone live or really posted a video or done anything, and I feel like I'm missing out. I'm kind of viewing it as something that I just need to keep up with, so it doesn't like fall off the radar. There's so many things I would love to do, and I want to create all kinds of stuff, and it's just hard when you like have stuff going, when you work full time and all these other things. So I can't believe I used to go live every week. How did I manage doing that? That was before I moved though, so I feel like it's only fair. Oh, Publix has it, Isabel. I just saw that. Maybe I'll go to Publix this week because there's one on our college campus. And I have gotten some different like European branded stuff there too. They have a big selection. I like that Publix. Even though Publix in general is a little bit more pricey than like a Kroger. Okay, so I'm noticing these colored pencils leave a lot of, what's the word we want to use? It's not pigment, right? There's a lot. Do you see the dust? My Dollar Tree ones didn't leave any dust. So that's something to consider. Okay, and then I watched The Gilded Age, and I didn't renew my HBO Max subscription. It was up on New Year's Eve, and I just was not renewing it, so I had to finish The Gilded Age, which I thought this season was excellent. If anyone here watches The Gilded Age. The Gilded Age is one of those things that you either love it or you've never heard of it and have no plans of watching it. I feel like there's like a spectrum of when I tell people about The Gilded Age. It's just such a good show because nothing happens. It's the most. Nothing happens. Like there's no real drama. There's no real action. There's like no, it's just people dressed up in the 1800s in these really ornate costumes and like being petty. That's really what it is. There are a lot of social things happening in the background that the show is also based around. So I'm not saying nothing happens, but it just feels like nothing's happening. But like in a good way. It's like low stakes drama is I guess the best way to describe it. I'm currently like late at night when I'm trying to decompress. I've been continually watching Call the Midwife, which is like a BBC show. I don't know if anyone here watches Call the Midwife, but I'm on season I think 9. I had to stop watching it for a while because one of the characters I like dies in it like suddenly, and that like made me sad, so I couldn't watch it anymore. But I kind of got over that. I was like, okay, I need to continue watching it. Yes, Call the Midwife is. Oh wait, Isabel, is what was the latest Gilded Age? Was it 2 or 3 that just happened? If you haven't watched the latest one, you will love it. I felt like the latest one really did everything well. Yes, okay, the Russells, George and Bertha Russells, they are like truly iconic, and I want to hang out with them. So yeah, I totally get that. And they're kind of supposed to represent what like the new America is all about. Um, I think Carrie Coon, who plays Bertha Russell, I think she's now going to be on The White Lotus. Did anyone else see that? She's going to be on the next season of The White Lotus, which is also good. Which is like a different, very different kind of drama. But yeah, there's just too many good things to watch nowadays. Okay, color pencils seem to be working well. Little. I'm not mad. Okay, on the 19th, I flew to Philly to visit my family for Christmas. And that was the first time I actually went to see anyone since I moved, so that was like kind of. It was a lot. Okay, yeah, then it's the second. It's one of those things where I think it was almost because you know how HBO is different. They don't follow like a schedule. So I think it was like 2 whole years before between seasons. When normally it's like a year. That's why I was thinking it was season 3, but I think it's just been 3 years since. I don't know. Oh, Call the Midwife makes me cry all the time. Are you kidding me? I watched the episode. The last 2 ones were like, um, the one where they're trying to shut them down. So Trixie goes to like the board of whatever and like makes this like rousing speech about why they're so important for the community, and like it's just so it's such a good drama. The acting's so good. I love British stuff too, so if you're not a British fan, you probably wouldn't like Call the Midwife. But if you're into British stuff, I highly recommend it. It's got like some famous people who like kind of either became famous from it or they were like guest stars. And by famous, I mean famous British people, obviously. Whoops. Okay, so I flew home. And it was kind of weird because I texted my coworker about this. When I flew home, that was the first time I left here to go back to where I lived before. Well, no, I didn't. Like, I went back to see my family. I didn't go back to DC. I didn't have time this trip. But it was the first time in 6 months that I had like left here to go back home or to see people I know, separate from having like a weekend trip, right? And it was so weird because it's like you're coming home to a different place and you miss it. So I was missing here because like this is now my home. And as the plane was when the plane took off and we were going up in the sky, I could see campus. You could see campus. It was beautiful, and I could see the building that my department's in. And I just remember thinking like, how cool was that I could see it from the plane, and it kind of just like solidified. I'm like, okay, I'm like making the right choice here. I made the right choice moving here, and regardless of what happens, it's all gonna work out. Let's see. Fierce Deity Gaming, I'm good. How are you? Welcome to our live stream. We're coloring my cat comic. And I forgot to write what I did that day. That's supposed to be Philly. That's my drawing of old buildings. So let me put Philly. I will say it was a really fun trip because I kind of went to all my old places. Like, I walked past my old job. I walked past the places I would like go to for lunch every day. Like, it was just fun to experience that again. I also ate lots of good food. If you're from Philly or you've been to Philly or know anything about it, you know that there's like the food there is just so good. And I was so excited to eat it. Whoops, I'm not putting the colored pencils back in the thing. I need to do that. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna color this in. They definitely go on the paper smoother than the Dollar Tree ones. I felt like for the Dollar Tree color pencils, I had to press really, really hard. But these, I'm just like barely pressing at all, and the color's going on the page, which I love. Okay. Did anyone see Job is in Japan and he's at like the Midori factory and like all those places that we would all like love to go to? So jealous. Hello, ASMR cleaner. I'm just gonna color the roof brown. I don't know if this is gonna look good. So, other than that, just been getting used to my new school schedule. My schedule is better in terms of I don't have awkward breaks and I kind of have things scheduled out nicely, but I'm still trying to figure out like the rhythm of day to day and like where to park and which part of campus I'm going to spend most of my time in. And these are things that you don't really like think about, and it takes a while to get used to. I'm definitely not used to it yet. Okay, these color pencils definitely, like, look at the depth I'm able to give. Like, I could never do that with the Dollar Tree ones. They never could get that dark. This is a good purchase. I feel like these color pencils were on the pricier side, but again, it's because you're buying like a European one. I think these were $16, which I guess for a set of like nice color pencils isn't too bad. But I really wanted to try them because I never seen Milan products really anywhere, and Kinokuniya had them. And last time I was there, I had bought like a pencil sharpener and eraser from Milan. So I was just so excited, and I just had to choose those. They had the Lamy colored pencils there too. I wanted to live stream from there, but it was way too crowded. Dennis O'Brien, hi, welcome. And I'm not sure which colors I should do for the windows, because the only downside about this color pencil set is there's no white colored pencil, so let's try this peach and see how it turns out. just to give it a little something. Don't know if this is really... Okay, let's try to do some shutters here. Ooh, it looks like there was a murder in this window. Okay, this is a bad idea. It's definitely been a fun challenge to try to draw my comic in the little monthly box instead of the weekly one. Okay, we're gonna have to put Dragon Cyber. We're gonna have to report him. Okay, he's gone. We do not do spammers at Stationary Shenanigans. You want to do that, you go talk to Elon Musk and do that on Twitter, because we ain't doing that here. Okay. So far, so good. I'm happy. Okay, and then we went to Longwood Gardens with my sister and my nieces to see all the Christmas lights, which was awesome. I think it was really cold that night. Funny story, I was taking the train out, like the suburban train to get out there, and they were picking me up like at the station, and one of the train conductors fell off the train, which I didn't know was possible on like a suburban, train. So we got stuck and we had to like sit on the rails for like an hour and a half before like the police came and everything. He's fine. But when like I guess it pulled away from the station or whatever, he wasn't holding on to the thing enough and he was like standing on the edge of the train and he fell off the train. And it was ironic because I was one stop away from where I needed to be. I could have literally got out if they had let us off the train, I could have probably like walked. So my sister and nieces were waiting in the car for me, and that put a damper on our schedule, but that was okay. Okay, I'm getting my colors out of order, but I'm not gonna let that hold me down. So I need to catch up on your videos. Super behind on that, no one is surprised. But I've had so much to read for my literature classes, and even because I'm teaching a new class not a new class, but I'm teaching a class that I never taught before here. So I have to read all of the stuff that the students have to read. It's like I have to read the textbook, I have to review, I have to find all that stuff to use. So it's like I'm reading double than I probably normally would have to. So that's kind of been a challenge. Let's see if we can do a little, let's see if these blend. So I thought I solved the problem with having my YouTube lives be horizontal. I was watching someone else's live and someone commented on how to do that. Arte Santa's here, happy Saturday, let us know what you're up to. And thanks for joining. We're just coloring in some of my cat comics from the end of December because I'm really far behind. But we're trying the new colored pencils, which has like been the best part so far. So I thought I figured out how to fix it and I was so excited. And then when I went to do it, you all saw that it didn't work and I was so disappointed. But I need to figure out kind of how to use that software that the Scribble Design recommended, OBS. I think I actually saved it to my bookmarks on my computer to like remind myself to go look at it. to see if streaming on that would be a lot easier. So we'll see how that goes. That would be great. Okay. And then me and my sisters went to a winery, our favorite winery in New Jersey. If you're in southern New Jersey, I cannot recommend it enough. We always have a great time. We go there. And me and my friend, back when I lived there, we used to go like over 10 years ago, back when I lived there. We used to go to this winery, but it was like before it became like a hip place to go, before it got built up. And it used to just kind of be like you could just bring hoagies or just like bring food and just like sit on a picnic table and just like buy wine from them and like walk around the fields with the grapes and stuff. But now it's like basically like a super nice like indoor restaurant where you have like a waiter and they have all these events and it's just like super like swanky. They like renovated it, but it's always a good time. See how I can. What else can we talk about? I did go to the movies because I did buy, back at Halloween, I did buy like a year of unlimited movies at Regal, which has been worth it. I highly recommend. So the last two I saw were The Zone of Interest, which cinematically was very interesting, the way it was filmed and all that. Of course, the subject matter was very heavy, so it's basically about a Nazi commander who has like a family and they live in a really nice house with gardens that's adjacent to the walls of Auschwitz. So it's like weird because the background, terrible things are happening, but in the foreground, it's like the children playing or the wife having a good time with like having her servants bring her tea and cake and talking to her friends. It's like this dichotomy of like good and like evil and human suffering. I don't know how else to describe it. And it's in German. It's actually, I think, a Polish film. So it's mostly in German, but it was really good if you're into like cinematography, which I'm really not into. I just enjoy it. So don't ask me cinematic questions. I highly recommend it. And then I watched Miller's Girl, which has Jenny Ortega and some other people. It's about kind of like this high school girl who kind of like has like a weird relationship with her English teacher, which is totally different subject matter from The Zone of Interest. But I felt like the acting in that by all the actors was like phenomenal. So to watch that movie just to enjoy their acting, I also recommend. Which one, Isabel? The Zone of Interest or Miller's Girl? I mean, they're both good. I would definitely recommend both, especially, if they come out on, streaming services. They're worth a watch. Sometimes I go to movies, I'm just like, I'd be okay if I never saw that again. And so I like going to the movies because usually I go on like a weekday night after like a long day just to kind of decompress, and there's usually like nobody there. And the movie theater that I go to is just really, it's small, but it's very nice and clean. And the employees are always like so nice. And while I'm in the movie, I'm not looking at my phone, I'm not checking my email, I'm not thinking about the world. And it's kind of a nice way to spend an hour and a half to like just be in the moment with something, because we don't really get that anymore. We're always connected and always like having to think about stuff. So that's why I decided to buy myself like that movie pass where it's just unlimited. Yeah, Zone of Interest, definitely good to see. Of course, it's sad because I don't know if it's based off of a true story, but it's the guy. He was like known, at least in the movie. I don't know if it's true, but he was like kind of like the mastermind in run making the concentration camps like super efficient and productive and all that stuff. Like he was like an organizer. Maybe he was an engineer. I'm not sure. He engineers a lot of stuff. So of course, all that is sad and terrible, but like the character development and like the not even the character, no, not the character development, just the way they film it. I don't know how to describe it. It's like they have a camera and there's like it's just a background and then there's one person standing in front of the camera and like doing something and then the camera point of view shifts from like the other side and you see it from the other angle. It's I don't know how to describe it, but like while I was watching it, I kept thinking about how interesting it was that they how they set up the cameras through the different scenes. Um, yeah, yeah, John. If you like the cinematic stuff, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of movies that are like. Did anyone see Haunting in Venice? I did see that back in like around Halloween time or whatever. I feel like that had some cinematic camera maneuvering that kind of like affected the story a little bit. Um, I also need to do better keeping in my Jibun Techo a list of all the movies. I'm gonna go back over the next few days. Where's the lists in the Techo? I'm gonna go back and list all the movies that I've watched because I just forget all of them, but I want to remember them. I did it with some of the books that I've been reading. So, The Memory Police, I decided I'm just going to put the title, the author, how many stars, and my one word. So, one word I would use to describe that movie or book or both. So, The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, I gave it 5 stars. The word I want to use to describe it was captivating. Jane and Edward by Melody Edwards, which is like a retelling of Jane Eyre. I gave it 5 stars, and the word I chose was harmonious. I'm not overthinking the words, it's just the first thing that comes to mind. Then I read Getting Lost, which is a memoir by Annie Ernaux, who's like a famous French contemporary author. I gave it 3 stars and like a middle smiley face. And the word I came to mind was delusional because she's basically chasing this unavailable man and making her whole life about this one man who's married and she's like writing in her diary about how she's kind of like obsessed with him and like the more you read it the more painful it was to read it because it's just like you're just so delusional. So that's the word that I chose. So the Jibun Tetra has a book one and a movie one, and I really need to go back and start listing the movies. And I'm not sure if I'm just gonna make series like TV series also part of the movie. And then there's the recommendation list, which I guess is this made for when someone recommends something to you? I guess that's what it is. I don't know. I need to work better on my that part of my plan. I do have like my schedule here, and I used Pilot Friction highlighters and then Pilot Friction pen over top of it. So in theory, next semester I could delete all this, erase it, and then enter my new schedule. But we'll see. So, where were we? Oh, and then over Christmas, my nieces and I went to the movies. We saw Migration, which was cute. And I guess I've been in movies a lot. I can smell the flowers that are sitting on my desk. Okay. So if you are watching this, if you could hit the like button, that would be great. I want to work on growing my channel at some point this year. And if you're watching the replay, once again, I appreciate it so much that you're watching the replay, but go ahead and let us know. Contribute to the chat, even though if you're not here for the live part of it, we can still know what you're up to. Or if you've seen any of the movies I was talking about, so Zone of Interest or Miller's Girl. Let me know what you thought about the movies. So let's see. Oh, Isabel, the Jane Eyre retelling, this book, do I have it out somewhere? Or did I already give it to one of my coworkers? I'm trying to see if it's on my shelf. It is. Hold on, let me get it. I literally bought it at the Barnes and Noble sale probably like before Christmas, and it was or maybe I got this in the summer, but it was like the buy one get one 50% off, and I just picked it up and I was like, this is interesting. So it's Jane Eyre, but it's set in modern day Toronto. So she's like becomes an admin assistant for this big law firm, and Edward is the head of the law firm. And I think it's supposed to take place in like 2019. So it's truly like contemporary. Um, but it's basically the story of Jane Eyre and like their relationship as she becomes his admin assistant, and no one else could handle him, and she's the first person that's kept the job in more than a few months. I just thought it was really fun to read. It's an easy thing to read. If you know what happens kind of in Jane Eyre, like a lot of this is predictable, but it was just a very good read. Um, and I think when I read what the author, Melody Edwards, this is her first novel, which is great. There are some guiding questions in the back. I thought I read somewhere that she it came out in 2023, that she started it because of the pandemic, and like she always wanted to do something like that, so this forced her to do it. I forget if I'd read that in her introduction. I could be thinking of a different book. But yeah, anyway, this is Jane Edward. Highly recommend it. Just a fun read. You know what's going to happen. But it's like, yeah, I like retellings because, especially when they're explicit about it, it's not based on something in terms of like they adapted it. It's like they're keeping the original plot and the storyline, but with different people and in a different setting, which I really like. So that's why sometimes you just check out the buy one get one 50% off section, because you can find books like that. That's how I buy all my books, actually. I just pick it up, and if I like what I read in the first page, I get it. I don't care if it's like not popular, or that's how I pretty much find all my books. I'm also very wary of when people like swear by a book to me. I'm like, do you like it just because it's popular and everyone's talking about it, or do you actually like it? So maybe that makes me a book snob. I don't know. Also, I'm reading tons of. So I'm taking a medieval literature class. It's called Journeying in Medieval English Literature and Culture. It's all about traveling and journeys and pilgrimages and stuff in the Middle Ages. And a lot of the books we do have to read are in Middle English. And then I'm taking a history and theory of the novel class, which is the class that I'm regretting. But we will be reading a bunch of classics in there, like Madame Bovary, Wuthering Heights, and all that stuff. But I'm not loving the class. I don't feel like I should be there. At first I thought the professor was great, but now I'm seeing things, and I just, at this point, we just got to pass it so we can get our PhD, and we're not going to stress about it. Isabel says, you read one that's more YA, young adult, a while ago just called Jane by April Linder. Wait, is it like a Jane Eyre retelling too? I'm trying to get into some of the YA books because like a lot of my students are more familiar with them. But even last summer, my niece, who when she was going into 9th grade, I did her summer reading with her. And it was like a YA dystopian novel / somewhat of fantasy. And it was really awesome. I read it cover to cover. Then on this day, on Christmas Eve, I saw my friend from Boston and her child, who is now, I think, I thought she was like a year and a half. So last time I saw her, she was like kind of an infant, but this time she could walk and say some words, and it was fun to go hang out with her. Oh, another Jane Eyre retelling. I knew nothing about this whole retelling thing, but I'm so for it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of Shakespeare. Well, is there a lot of Shakespeare retellings? But don't ask me about Shakespeare. I feel like it's one of those things that I should know more about, having a master's degree in English, but I just don't know that much about Shakespeare. Jane Eyre retelling. You'll have to check if your library has the other one. Yeah, if it came out in 2023, your library might have it. Don't forget also, you can submit and request that your library buy things. I mean, it's different everywhere. It depends on, what your funding in your library is like, but that's how they buy things, is when people start to request them and they have money in the budget or whatever. College is a little bit different because I requested that the library buy a couple books last semester, and they immediately replied to me saying okay, we ordered them. Because they're academic related, so I can kind of get away with being oh, I might use that in my teaching. Can you buy the book? Yeah, look how these color pencils really, what's the word? It's the colors are very rich, but there's so much dust. A huge chunk of the pencil just fell off there. So I kind of have to consider that I'm gonna have dust everywhere. So anyway, we've been going for almost an hour now. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Wait, Isabel works in the library system that you check out from? Oh, you have to get the inside scoop if there's a way you can push for the budget. I always tell people to go to the library because, or at least to get a library card, because it affects how the state and counties usually give libraries their funding by how many registered cards that they have. So if you don't have a public library card, I request that everyone this week go and get one. You don't even need to use it if you don't want. You just need to sign up for it. And also to throw out there for the public libraries, mine offers a free streaming service called Hoopla, which has tons of movies and shows and even a lot of documentaries and British series, because we were talking about British stuff earlier, that I can stream on my iPad or on my computer or whatever. The only downside to that is there is a limit to how many things you can watch per day, but the reality is, who has time to watch 3 whole movies in one afternoon anyway? But sometimes they have interesting things that I don't see on Netflix and elsewhere. So libraries are not just books, and people sometimes forget about that. Yes, thank you for joining us, Katie. I hope you get to enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow I'm actually gonna just kind of tidy up, pack my bag for the week, and then I'm hanging out with 2 of my friends because one of them had a birthday today, so we're gonna do something tomorrow. Funny enough, she lives on the floor above me in my apartment building, so that's an easy thing to do, and we'll have fun, and I'm not gonna stress tomorrow. I'm not gonna do any work because I did a lot of work today, and we need to have more fun, right? So definitely these color pencils were a good choice, and I'm satisfied with how the colors look. Next time maybe I'll do a comparison how they show on the paper versus, or the old ones versus this one. But I feel like the colors are very vibrant here. Yes, thank you, Lisa, for joining us. I have to figure out when I'm going to go live next. I'm pretty much, maybe I could do a weekday night live. My goal is to try to give everyone a few hours notice. I'm going to post on my community page a couple hours ahead of time when I know I'm going to try to go live, and I'll try to make an actual live video. That way it pops up on your subscription feed. I just don't think I'll be able to have a regular live stream schedule anymore with this new job and new life. So, but it's all good. I will see you all next time. Take care.